10.
Just for that, I'm going to start with
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. This is the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on September 14th, 2020. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Vice Chairman Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Mills. Present. Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Looking for approval of the minutes of August 3rd, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody notice any corrections or deletions that need to be made? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now we need approval of the minutes of September 8th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Tie for second. Anybody notice any corrections that need to be made on those? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Leads us to new business. First, request by Hoffman Alpha Omega Development Group. Could you make your name any longer? LLC for a courtesy review to redevelop the vacant building at 2575 West Higgins Road with a gas station, convenience store, and restaurants. Who wants to come forward?
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Lasota, and I'm with Hoffman Alpha Omega Development Group. And we are the development arm of the Hoffman companies. Also with me is Michael Caldwell. He's a principal from Caldwell Engineering, who's a civil engineer for the proposed project.
Excuse me, would you get closer to that microphone?
Pardon?
Would you get closer to that mic?
Can
There
do
you
that.
go.
Is that good?
Yes,
Okay.
much better.
And
you.
Mr. Fred Hoffman, who is the managing member of the Hoffman Alpha Omega Development Group, and is also the owner of A La Carte Entertainment. A La Carte Entertainment was formed and founded in 1970 when it began with a single location called the Snuggery. Nearly 50 years later, Mr. Hoffman and his son Mark oversee over 1,000 employees at restaurants and nightclubs, including Finn McCool's, Freddy's, famous Freddy's Roadhouse, Lionhead, Lucky Star, Sweet Caroline's Carbon Q, The Apartment, Excalibur, and Moretti's restaurants. We're here tonight to discuss the proposed redevelopment of the property located at 2575 West Higgins Road. The subject property is 84,327 square feet and is part of a 5-lot subdivision, which originally included 5 restaurants: Lone Star, TGIF, Macaroni Grill, Steak and Shake, and Max and Irma's. 4 of the 5 restaurants, Max and Irma's, Lone Star, TGIF, and Macaroni Grill, have closed down. Currently, Hoffman A La Carte Entertainment owns 4 of the 5 former restaurants. That's 80% of the restaurant in that restaurant campus. The former Max and Irma's has become Moretti's restaurant. The former Lone Star is now Moretti's Unique Events. We're currently under negotiation with a cannabis company to occupy the former TGIF restaurant, and we're here before you tonight to talk about the old Macaroni Grill restaurant. The property is located west of the subdivision. The property located west of the subdivision is the existing Burger King, which you might recall was previously a Shell gas station, and it up until it was closed when Higgins was widened and they lost the fuel dispensers, which basically took them out of operation. To the east is the existing Moretti's restaurant. To the southeast is the Moretti's Unique Events. To the south is the old TGIF. And to the southwest is the Steak and Shake. The 5-lot subdivision is accessed by a single private circulation road, which bisects the parcels and winds through the subdivision, which we can get into that a little more. And it extends from Higgins Road to Barrington Road. And it's unique in its way that it provides access to all 5 parcels, allowing direct access from Higgins and Barrington Roads without having to have direct access from IDOT. And it's ideal from a safety perspective, as cars are not crossing over many lanes of traffic to enter the sites. As you remember, we may or may not, we were, previously came before the board and introduced the project late last year. Since then, we've taken the comments that we received from the board, as well as the comments from the village, and refined our site plan. We studied the grade elevations on both on and off site, and in order to make sure that the building was not sitting in a hole. We've engaged KLOA, our traffic consultant, to review the access, the traffic, the parking, and the existing conditions on site. U.S. Oil is studied the site and prepared a preliminary gasoline volume study for the site. They looked at the existing conditions and existing competition in the area to come up with the exact volume that they project that the site will do. DeVita Landscape looked at all of the existing conditions on the site, made recommendations, looked at the code for the village, and has created a landscape plan for the property. DMA Architects has done a study and created perspectives to show the visibility, sight lines of the property and how it, what you would see when you were driving down Higgins. So we can look at the grades with respect to that. Caldwell Engineering prepared a memorandum explaining the differences in the site plan that we've presented today versus what was presented back in at the end of last year. I'm going to let Michael take over and kind of discuss the site plan.
Right away, I noticed that you already have 2 ingress and egresses, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm happy to entertain any other questions that you may have at this time, or do you want me to present?
Oh, go ahead and present.
Okay, great. We prepared a site plan towards the end of last year, 2019, and then that was submitted to the village, and subsequent to that, the village planning staff has reviewed the site plan, and we've taken the time and made sure that the development was functional, as well as meeting the requests of the planning staff. And I would assume that, and also the engineering staff, and as I believe the trustees had made comments as well. So I can just, I don't want to go belabor all of the points, but I can briefly discuss them.
You're going to need to have a microphone with
I understand, I'm just moving this closer. Can everybody see that?
While you're doing that, I've been reminded that there's a statement of understanding here. Do you understand, and this is, I guess, for everyone here, on behalf of the group, that you understand that your appearance before the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee shall not constitute any village board endorsement, support, or implied approval of the subject property? Do you also understand that the project approval or denial shall only occur through official village board action?
Yeah, we understand that.
Okay.
Okay. One of the items that was discussed with the planning staff was the access to and from the site. What we've done in conjunction with our traffic consultant and internal review we have developed a flow through the site, so all traffic as well as delivery vehicles for the restaurants as well as for the fuel can access the site very easily. What we've done what we've done is we've made sure that truck traffic can come through here. They'll be able to back up and fuel at this location and then continue on without any backup or any other obstruction through the site. So it's a very clear and easy and quick way to access the site.
I'm going to stop you right there for a second. I thought, was our understanding that there weren't going to be any trucks going into this gas station?
Well, you have to deliver it with the
Okay,
truck.
yeah, delivery-wise,
Yes.
okay.
So that we have to provide access for that. And so we've actually done an analysis and presented that to the planning staff that shows that you can access the site either coming from Higgins Road or from the private drive. They could come up Barrington and come through the private drive, either one. And likewise, they could exit either way. One of the other main items that we would like to discuss is that previously we had shown more than one drive-through. We've modified the plan to just have one drive-through. We felt it was more streamlined and serviced the development better. The other item that we also wanted to discuss was visibility. As you can see in the packet that we were provided, or that we've provided, is we have the analysis from the architect that shows, this shows what the elevations are above Higgins Road. So there's actually, as you drive by Higgins Road, you'll be able to see very clearly the gas station as you drive through. The elevation of the site is actually 6 to 8 feet lower than the elevation of the most extreme point of Higgins Road. As you go to the west, it goes to a very low change in elevation, change in grade. But with the construction of the canopy, you'll be able to see that quite easily. In addition, we anticipate that we will be providing the same or similar landscaping as we have to the east and to the west. If you take a look at Burger King, there is very little high landscaping that blocks off the visuals of the building. And also, if you go to the west, to the east of the site, to the Moretti's, you can see the Moretti's quite easily. Currently, the site has both canopy trees on the site as well as on the roadway. And so we would anticipate that those would be modified so we could actually see them coming from the west as you travel west to east. And so I'm here basically to entertain any questions that you have with regard to any engineering matters or site issues.
Trustee Mills.
Yeah, a couple things. In your building there, all right, you've got a convenience store, and then it says fast food,
Correct.
and what's the furthest on the, at the other end, yeah?
This is going to be the drive-through restaurant.
Then, so it's two separate restaurants then?
Well, okay.
Originally, when we first came in, the plan had the buildings separated. We've since combined the buildings and have looked at doing the uses. We're currently laying everything out But what we're going to be doing is having the convenience store, and then within the convenience store, adjacent to it, there would be it's a flow-through process. So you'd have the convenience store on one side, you'd be able to walk clearly from one spot to the other, but then there would be the ordering stations for all the different uses. So there's really not a clear defined line going through the buildings, creating separate uses.
Okay.
It's more like counter spaces so that you could order, and then there will be one drive-through window where all of the uses would be able to facilitate
Okay.
the drive-through window.
Where do you envision the video poker to be then?
It will be within the space, but it will be separated, so it's not, how we have them currently laid out is that there's the counter, and then there's a little wing wall, and in that, it's separated from it, so that there's
Okay.
a space for them.
All right.
Would that be in the convenience store?
It is, I'm not sure if it's right, yes, it is by the convenience, within the convenience store area,
Okay,
okay?
Can I ask a couple other things?
sure.
Okay. Now, you realize they're building another convenience store just a half a block away.
I do.
Okay. Do you have any idea who would be having this convenience store?
Yes, I'll speak a little bit towards that. Basically, we have looked at, I think Michael kind of went through how we've laid out the site. And at this point, we took a look at what we had previously, what we were looking at, and when everything kind of turned upside down with COVID, we kind of looked at our plan and the uses and kind of refined it a little bit. And as you're well aware, that COVID has kind of upset the entire development world, and we think it's going to continue to do that for some time. The retail restaurant industry has been one of the sectors that's basically been most affected by COVID-19. Full-service restaurants, without the drive-throughs, carry-out, delivery, pickup, catering capacity really have not been able to survive or are, pretty much shut down. And so luckily, I think that, Mr. Hoffman has positioned himself quite well with being able to have a lot of those components within his restaurants. The proposed uses for this property will include sustainable, what we believe will be sustainable commercial uses that are considered essential businesses, or will fall within that. So a gas station is a essential business. The drive-through, by not separating the food from the fuel, we will have the ability for people to still be able to walk within there, safely social distance, and then we still have the drive-through facility that they can order their foods from. Let's see, Circle K will be the brand for the C-store. The fueling will be branded Amico. A la carte will be branding their food concept called Buddy's Beef. And we will be participating and partnering with Gloria Jean's Coffee to be serving the coffee specialty within the facility. So I think that those are the uses and how they will, be functioning within the space.
Just one other thing, is there any thought of possibly
Let me talk about the traffic a little bit.
I will.
less than 20 islands? It just seems like
Can you
a
repeat
little
that?
bit
I'm
of
sorry.
overkill having that many gas pumps out there. We don't want it to look like, and I know Hoffman's do a great facilities, they do wonderful projects. This is definitely something different for them, but we don't want it to look like a truck stop type atmosphere, where it's all gas pumps in front, and I was just wondering if there was any thought of possibly putting that down slightly from 20. Just a thought.
Well, we have, and I think we included in the package, we've engaged US Oil to, and they are partnering with us on this. So
Right.
they are, and they looked at this and they've run the volumes based on that. I mean, we can go back and ask them if there's any possibility and how that would affect the numbers
Might
on it
give you more
overall.
room for vehicle traffic and that too on the site.
Well, I mean, the circulation does work, and I don't know if bringing it down by 2 pumps is gonna, or dispensers will actually make that much of a difference from a circulation standpoint. But I believe that, right now, the numbers, what they're projected to be, we can certainly look at, is that something that we can go back and look at? But again, it's gonna come down to whether or not, the numbers work still.
Yeah, I understand that,
So-
but it was just a thought.
Right,
Okay,
right.
thank you.
We can look at that. Yep, I think, sure, one more thing that I think I'll have, oh yeah, Michael, you can come back and then we can close.
I just wanted to discuss your question with regard to the convenience store that's across the street. I'm sure you are very familiar with this. You've probably even heard our traffic consultant discuss it, Michael Worthman of KLOA. We often discuss things together in front of boards, and the Village of Hoffman Estates is very experienced with regard to this. And most of the uses on this site would be considered convenience uses. And I'm sure that you're aware that most convenience uses will take somewhere between 60 and 70% of the users of the site for the convenience uses. Those would be people that are already traveling in the same direction. They're not going to necessarily be people that say, oh, there's a gas station over there if I'm traveling westbound on Higgins. They're probably not going to be going here. The people that are going to be using the site are the people that are traveling eastbound on Higgins. And I believe, did you already discuss it?
No, I didn't, but it's 69.
Yeah, the only, it goes from Route 47, 16 miles to the west, is a gas station. And the next fueling station, that's even, I don't know how far east. It's probably someplace in Schaumburg. Gulf and Roselle? No, Gulf and Higgins. Oh, yeah, Gulf and Higgins, correct. So we feel that it's, and I'm sure Jen can talk to that this is going to be convenience use. So there's no, I don't think, according to our traffic consultant, there's probably not going to be that much competition between them. We'll have different users. The only other use that we have is the restaurant use will be probably a destination use. But although, given its drive-through right now, it's probably generally going to be a convenience use as well at this time.
You have on here, excuse me, for fuel estimates, unbranded versus major brand. Obviously, you're saying you're bringing in a major brand.
Correct.
So the numbers that we have here for major brand are the ones that you would be using, is that right?
That is correct. And when they, again, when they run the numbers, they look at competition in the area as well. So to the point of, recognizing that there is competition in the area, we realize that, but I think a big advantage for us is that, we are going to be that first, from 47 traveling on Higgins, we're the first gas station that you're going to hit in a matter of 16 miles. So we do think that there is a need for it, and based on the volumes that we have received from our consultant, they confirm that is, and based on what they're looking at.
Now, there are gas stations at Higgins and around 25, as I recall. Now, I don't know if they're on the east side. I think they might be going on the west side, but
Yeah, they're on the opposite side, correct.
still, there are gas stations there, and you're obviously aware of that.
But the patterns, what we look at when we're looking at the gas stations and the people's habits, people typically won't cross over that traffic. They'll either wait till they go there, it's either the first location that you're going to hit on your way to work or you're going to hit it on your way home from work. They don't typically cross over the traffic to get there because it's time constraints and convenience and everything else. So again, that's all factored in when we look at the numbers and and the projections.
My understanding is also that you're going to have like at least 2 pumps for electric cars?
They will have, I'm not sure of the number of them. Is there 2? It is 2, yes. 2 parking, correct.
Would they be with these pumps, or are they different location?
I think they're in different locations, is what they're going to be.
They're parking
We have not pinpointed the exact location of them, but we can refine that and let you know where they're at.
Sure. I counted about 45 parking spaces, was I right?
There's
Or
actually 53, if I'm not mistaken. Hang on one second, I can tell you that.
I'm missing 8 then, somewhere.
There are a total of 53, 51 and 2 handicap.
Okay.
Okay. Right, that's not including the pumps, which, there's always a question whether to include that, because people typically, will fuel up and they'll leave their car sit there and run in and grab something, but, but the actual spaces themselves. is
Okay.
53 total.
If you eventually make it back here for a final and go through all the planning zoning committee, we can go through all the parking spaces and you can show me where they are at that
Okay.
time. Anyone else? Yes, trustee Palafis.
Yeah, I have a similar question as trustee Mills. The gas pumps, are those all dual pumps in like 5 separate carousels? The 10 pumps, they're dual?
There.
So it's 2
186.
pumps per,
Correct.
I don't know what to call them, carousels, islands?
Here, sorry.
Yeah. The reason I was asking is, for the same question, because like Ricky Rockets is pretty wide, and they have 7. One of them is dual, which is, 2 pumps. Not to mention 2 sides to 2 pumps. One of them is like race car fuel, which I don't know if anybody uses, but, in comparison, I have the same concern about, the curb appeal, if you will. And just kind of comparing your picture versus, the Google Maps picture of today. And it looks like the islands are going to be really close to Higgins, so you can get the maximum of the setback, correct?
Michael, do you know the distance?
Like when I look at this picture,
Right,
the benefit for the cameras can't see.
Right.
This is right on to Higgins, so.
but it's actually,
Yeah.
it could be the perspective that's showing it, and I don't know off the top of my head the exact distance, but we can
Yeah.
probably.
Like today, you can
Actually-
barely see Macaroni Grill's building.
Have it.
You almost wouldn't even know a
Hang
building is
on.
there in full bloom.
If I could see this, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's 30, 30-something.
So your setback's 35?
Well,
it's
no,
more than that.
it's more than that. This is,
Oh, okay.
It's 10 feet to the, it's 10
so
feet to the
40,
maximum of the curb.
48, 48 foot 2
Okay,
setback from Higgins,
okay.
okay? From
That's a
the
lot
prop- from
different than the
prop-
picture looks to me.
From the
My-
property line.
My uncalibrated eye.
Yeah.
But, okay, that was my only questions. Thanks, Gary.
Plus then that's not from the actual road, because then there's the actual landscape area in there as well, so, okay?
Okay.
That's from our property line.
Understood.
is 48.
You figured out where you'd want to put your snow?
Okay, yeah, in the landscape area.
Okay. Anyone else on the board that,
I believe
One more,
the
sorry.
site is large enough that the surrounding area, that I believe there is area there that we can also use for that,
okay.
that we have due to owning the other properties.
My only other question was, are you going to build up the elevation, or is it where it is today?
I'm sorry, say
Are you going to raise the ground to be a higher elevation, or is it where,
raise the grade, what
Okay.
we're going, because we have the road that comes in and all of the
Understood.
existing conditions there.
Yeah.
So what our plan is, the actual canopy, we will raise that so it's higher, and then keep the building so that we can have the visibility of both. And so that it will help with the visibility, the concerns that everybody had. And I think that when we went back and looked at the property, it really is quite overgrown with trees and, and shrubs, and so you really can't see it because of everything that's kind of obstructing it right now. But if you once that's cleared out and the landscaping is redone, we will be able to have visibility there, so.
Yeah.
There's two layers, so to speak, of overstory trees. Which is vastly different than what
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Probably 40 or so trees there. that
yeah,
were-
and
yeah.
they're really quite large,
Okay,
so.
that's all for me, sir.
And then the only other thing that I think that we haven't touched on is that we've given you the projected sales tax numbers, so of what we're projecting based on the volumes that we're going to be doing. This will be over 400,000 a year in sales tax, so.
Yeah, you gave us those numbers, and, yeah, they look very promising, but whether they actually come to fruition, I guess we'll find out.
And typically, when we're doing, obviously, we rely on the numbers that we receive and the projections that we get from with the fuel, and they have a lot that goes into projecting those numbers, and, I've been doing this for 36 years with building gas stations, and I can tell you that those projections are, again, it's not COVID, but, people are still fueling their cars, so.
Trustee Mills.
Just one other question. Will the Hoffman Group still own the property, or will you be selling it off to the companies?
Selling it off to the
To
company.
the gas station, the gas no?
They'll still
They
be
will
owning-
retain
right.
ownership? Okay.
Anyone else with any other questions or concerns? I know last time we kind of gave you an idea that maybe you shouldn't push on, but you pushed on, and you're back here again.
Persistent.
Quite frankly, I'm not opposed at this point to let you go on to further experiences with the Planning and Zoning Committee and go from there. Trustee Palafis.
If your performa is accurate, I love it. And anything would look better than what's there now, but, it would be a good budget filler as long as, what I mentioned, in lieu of Trustee Mills' comments also is the appeal. And maybe, that next round will show us some better renderings in terms of the pictures and the setback and.
Yeah, we'll
a
be,
little bit.
next round, we'll go ahead and with all the architectural will be done on it, so we'll look at the elevations and have a better perspective on it.
I love how you have the data points from experts, because I'm not a gasoline expert or whatnot. I drive by there all the time. And as you know, I'm at Moretti's way too often. I have teenagers that love your pizza. So, I think it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to, a gas station being that location. I hope you're right. So,
Trustee Mills first, then Trustee Gata.
Yeah, if you do get into the process, which at this time, it looks like you're going forward with it, make sure you do have a few more renderings of how it will appear from the restaurants that are there now. You have the one street view right now, but make sure we have a view of what you would see from the other corners of that plaza.
We will, it will be part
Okay.
of it. What we were trying to do with this, it was really give you an
It's
idea
basic at
of
this
the grade
point, right.
difference and to make sure that you understood that
That I
it wasn't really
understand.
sitting in a hole. So yes, we will
Right, but
definitely.
that doesn't show the other restaurants that are there right now or anything.
No,
so
it was purely done for
Right.
the reasons
Yeah.
to try and
Yeah.
get everybody to understand grade.
That would be good, and work with staff over the traffic studies and everything.
We will,
Because I think it appears that they may have questions and concerns on that yet.
we will. Like I said, we've already engaged the traffic consultants, so they've done a lot of homework on this already with us, so,
Okay,
all
good.
right?
Go ahead, Trustee Gata.
Yes, I agree with you as far as I am for a station. In fact, I think even the photographs that you even, as far as the layout, I think it all looks good. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that all of the other gas stations around here are anywhere from 40 to 70 cents more a gallon than any other locations around here. And the thing is that if you're thinking of putting this in here and to be competitive, fine. If you're going to be just like everybody else in here, and that's 40, 50, 70 cents a gallon more, I'm against putting another gas station anywhere in the village.
I think that, how we've looked at, I know that the Village of Hoffman Estates imposes an additional tax. And that, I can't speak to why people are pricing the way they're pricing, but I do know that, to other villages, some other villages and counties don't have, they all don't have the same taxes. So I think that, that is looked at when they price it. And like I said, I can't speak to why somebody is pricing the way they are. I can only speak to, when we look at it, we look at the state, the city, the county, all those taxes go in, and that's how they price, so, okay?
Okay.
So,
We'll see after
that.
it comes back to us from the planning and the zoning.
I think Trustee Gate is trying to tell you that you should price more like the Marathon further down in Thornton's than you should like Ricky Rockets.
Okay. Okay.
Trustee Palafis.
Last question, I promise. Are you going to do any kind of marketing internally to the different business offerings? Like after a certain amount of, gallons of gas? Like you get a free beef sandwich or?
Yeah,
Just,
we always look at those types of opportunities, especially when we're involved with a situation like we are now, where, a la carte is, having their brand in there. They can basically offer those types of things that other people can't do. So,
Yeah.
we do that quite a bit.
I
So,
think that would differentiate your offering,
right,
if you could do that.
yep.
All right, thank you for coming in front of us and giving us a showing of what to expect. Let's move on to new business, which is the second, is request approval of the Barrington Square Town Center TIF reimbursement request number 5 in the amount of $4,703,954.84. Rachel?
Kevin's going to take this one.
Kevin's going to take it? Okay.
See you guys again. I was just saying I haven't gotten to stand before you here at a meeting since February, so I'm glad to be here again and to have some things happening on the agenda here. So this one with the Barrington Square TIF, the Higgins-Hassel TIF, is what we've done in the past. The developer agreement TIF note was approved back in 2012 with an amount not to exceed $9 million if they had reimbursable project costs. So over the past 7 years, 8 years now, the board has increased that TIF note from 0 to $5.6 million. And with this fifth submission, it's the same kind of thing. They have about $4.7 million worth of TIF eligible costs. The note, though, is governed, like I said, by the $9 million cap, but it's limited to 30% of the total project costs. So if they have enough eligible costs going up to the total project cost, that's how much they can be reimbursed for. So the proposed TIF note with this action would increase to just over $7 million with all 5 reimbursement requests. So that's what's before you tonight. The owner, though, just a quick update on what's going on there, continues to market the former Burger King site, now the outlot between McDonald's and the new Bona. The Menards site, that back piece, although they haven't focused on that as much, just because there seems to be more traction with the smaller sites. And then kind of deviating from where the owner has been the whole time, they're also even considering selling the entire center now, which is different from what they had always said. They have it out there, although they're not pushing for it. But if somebody did want to come by the center, they would at least entertain an offer, which, like I said, is very different from where they had been before. So that's this item tonight.
Any questions from anyone? Mayor?
Kevin, can you explain the TIF note? What if there isn't money to pay all this money back on the TIF note? What happens?
Good point. So the note is a pay-as-you-go. However much money it comes into the TIF, if there's not enough money to pay it back from the TIF, then it doesn't get paid back. It only can be paid from the TIF fund.
Is there enough money in the TIF fund now?
No, and I don't remember offhand.
So
Rachel?
currently, we get about 300,000 of incremental taxes every year, and the formula is basically after any admin or legal expenses, which are minimal, the balance gets split 50/50. So for example, last year, there was a note payment of 182,000. So that's been where it's been running for the last couple of years. Currently, we paid off $487,000 of this note.
If they want to hit that $7 million, they would really need to redevelop that Menards piece, certainly, that old Menards piece, and a couple of the outlots. And granted, the TIF was started in 2012, so it's got till 2035. They got some time left, but they got to get moving on some of those
There's a
things
long
if
way
they
to
want to
go.
make their money back.
Yeah. Trustee Palafis.
Yeah, I just wanted to make mention that I'd love to see more increment, so we could actually entertain paying them back. But at the rate of increment growth right now, it'll take 60 years. So, this in my mind is an underperforming asset. So,
It
I can
has,
understand
I
why
mean,
they'd wanna
it has
sell.
generated $23 million. Where's my number? $23 million of total project costs. So when you look at, okay, where was the center and where is it now? The whole facade has been redone. That entire office building behind the bowling alley was built. Obviously the Bona was rebuilt, the McDonald's was rebuilt, and now they're doing that 7-Eleven, all to the tune of, how much was paid out, Rachel? 400 and,
Right, almost 500,000.
almost 500,000.
please don't hear me wrong. I'm not saying the investment hasn't been valiant.
Yeah,
I just think there's a lot of potential to have growth.
yeah.
And it'd be nice to see that, come to fruition.
Did we have a motion and a second on this one?
No, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding, before we vote? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, number 3, request by DMG Mori USA Incorporated for a resolution supporting the Cook County Class B classification renewal application for property tax assessment purposes for the existing DMG Mori facility located at 2400 Huntington Boulevard.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Kevin, you're taking this too?
Yeah, you know what, I'll start, and there are representatives from DMG here that I'd like to come up and speak if you'll hear them. Just really quickly, though, back in 2008, when they first built, the board approved the resolution to support their 6B application. As you know, 6Bs are pretty necessary in Cook County for an industrial user, and that's why that was done then. This is a 12-year renewal. You can renew once in Cook County, and the county allows that as long as there's that resolution. I do want to make an important change from the agenda item. I did say that they're a tenant in the building after completing a sale leaseback, but actually DMG has always been a tenant. They've never owned the site. McShane entered into a lease agreement with them in 2008 to build, but the current owner is in favor of this, and I'll let them speak about passing on the savings to DMG to be able to reinvest. So if you guys want to come up and speak, I'll let you explain a little bit more. Yeah.
Could we have your name and address, please?
Absolutely. First off, my name is John Sprenzel, and I represent DMG Mori with regards to this 6B renewal application. With me today, I've got 3 officers from DMG Mori. Our first individual, I'm sorry, let me speak in the microphone, is Marlo Kanaba. He's the Chief Technical Officer for DMG Mori. We also have the Business Development General Manager, Ms. Asuka Takahara, and then we have the Senior Tax Accountant, Mr. Troy Jackson. So first of all, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity. I want to thank Kevin and his staff for coordinating this, so we have the opportunity to present this renewal request. As Kevin mentioned, DMG Mori received, or the property that DMG Mori occupies received a 6B incentive classification. In times where commercial properties are shouldering a larger tax burden, we're seeking a renewal of this 6B application, and which would expire this year. As Kevin mentioned, it's a 12-year program. The first 10 years, you're assessed at 10% of the fair cash value of the property, and then it's ramped up in years 11 and 12 to 15 and 20% respectively. This property has, since taking occupancy, since DMG took occupancy in 2009, it has invested $3.5 million in improvements. There are a number of initiatives that DMG wants to that wants to add to the building because of the facets of their business, which is a cutting-edge technological company that produces computer numerical coded machining, along with some other items that I would like Ms. Takahara to discuss. But also in the application, we identified 7 different initiatives that DMG, sorry, the mask kind of got in the way there, DMG Mori seeks to accomplish, but they cannot accomplish it without a 6B renewal. The taxes that would wear off, the incentive that would wear off and cause the tax burden on DMG Mori would prohibit such ability to do so. So at this time, I wanted to introduce Ms. Takahara, and she'll provide a little bit of history of DMG Mori. They are a multinational company. Besides being here in Hoffman Estates, they're in Japan, Brazil, and a number of other locations. She'll also discuss what's currently in the property right now. And then followed by Ms. Takahara will be Mr. Kanaba, who will discuss more in detail about the 7 initiatives that DMG Mori seeks to perform if the 6B renewal is approved by the village in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Asuka Takahara. I'm the general manager of the business development group in DMG Mori USA. Since we've moved into Hoffman Estates from our original locations in Rolling Meadows, our business has grown tremendously. We originally had approximately 90 employees when we started off at Hoffman Estates, and we currently employ 212 employees at this current facility.
Why don't you move that mic down to you a little bit?
Sorry, I'm a little bit shorter. Here we go. Okay. Since then, we've also seen tremendous amount of sales growth, which has allowed us to reinvest some of that additional cash flow back into the business, which is what Mr. Spencer has alluded to, which is approximately $3.5 million of reinvesting into the current facility in Hoffman Estates. Some of those reinvestments include adding additional layers to the flooring to facilitate the CNC machine tools that we currently offer as a product line. But we also have created what we call ASI labs, a mezzanine floor for our engineers. Additionally, some fewer investments that feed into more of our technology that we are investing in for increased automation. We pride ourselves in not only providing a product, but a solution to our customers, which includes more technological software-based solutions. So in doing so, what we do on a frequent basis is we have annual trade shows, local shows. One of them is named Innovation Days, which we invite approximately 2,000 customers to our location, and we provide demonstration, we provide them tours, we provide them with a very detailed look at the technology that we're investing in and the newer models that are coming out of our factories. With that, we also partnership with some of the local businesses that have since moved into the Hoffman Estates area. A lot of them are our customers and suppliers as well. Some of them are NSK, which is right around the corner, as well as Trump, which is next door. I actually saw their building being built while we were still occupying the Hoffman Estates building. And there's a lot of synergy between our suppliers as well. So there's definitely a leverage that they benefit off of our trade shows as we do crossover visitations for some of our customers as well. So we really appreciate the opportunity that you consider us for this 6B renewal for some of the future investments that we have planned. And for that, I'd like to call our Executive Chief Technical Officer, Marlo Kanaba.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening. I think I was here about 12, 13 years ago talking to you, and we shared, much like the first initiative this evening, we shared our plans and we shared our vision. And I would hope that you would agree that the last 12 years have been a great partnership in this area. As was just mentioned, not only the technology that we represent to the market, but there's been other companies and suppliers that have moved into the area. One that we did not mention previously was Big Kaiser that came in shortly after us. With that has come many initiatives. One is attracting new young talent into our industry. We meet regularly hosting high schools, even high schools in the Hoffman Estates area, as well as colleges. We invite them in. One mention that was just noted, Innovation Days. Innovation Days, not only do we bring in 2,000 customers throughout not only the United States, but the world into this area, but in addition to that is probably another 1,000 suppliers that come to this area for that 4-day event once a year. This year we made the news. Notoriety, certainly maybe not always welcomed initially, but we had pulled out of a large trade show in downtown Chicago. One of the reasons why we did that was because of this event itself, Innovation Days. We have been able to grow this event. We started in 2004 with Innovation Days. We have about tripled the size of this, the scale, and now it is certainly an international event here in Hoffman Estates in the manufacturing community. We want to continue to grow. Technology is changing. Industry 4.0 is certainly permeating manufacturing and the high technology of additive manufacturing, much like 3D printing. Technology continues to change, but we need, in order to advance, we need to be able to have these funds available with a 6B renewal. We think that it's not only good for our company, but we would hope that you would agree that it's good for Hoffman Estates, that we keep Hoffman Estates as a focal point in the manufacturing technology community. It's important. FANUC is a great supplier to us. We have Trump, we have Big Kaiser, and all of us share some of the same clientele that come into the area. So I think that is important. We have 26 facilities around the United States. When we moved to Hoffman Estates, our goal was to truly make Hoffman Estates our U.S. headquarters. We continue to evolve that. Within those 26 facilities around the United States, we have 3 regions. We plan to move forward and make our facility in Hoffman Estates not only our headquarters, but also the headquarters for our central region, which has 10 offices throughout the central United States as well. So we have a lot of growth. Right now, we have slated about $1.8 million in renovations that will allow those. We are also, in addition to reorganizing our facility and restructuring it for the Central Region headquarters for the United States, we are expanding our automation division and looking to expand that into all of North America. So supporting our colleagues in Canada, Mexico, and Brazil as well. So that's another initiative. We have recently, you may have seen in the news, the DMG Mori, we just were awarded a major contract with the U.S. Navy. And in order to do that, we've had to revitalize some of our IT to make it extremely, extremely secure, and very specific tests that needed to be approved and sanctioned by the U.S. government. My point is that as we continue to move forward, not only in executing this contract with the U.S. Navy, but we already are getting much more exposure into the U.S. government, military, and space. And we will certainly continue to do that, and it will certainly take, again, more infrastructure. So DMG Mori, and that's an interesting point in itself. When I came before you in 2008, our company was Mori Seiki, a company headquartered in Japan. Within 2009, we entered a relationship that has grown to the point where we have now acquired controlling interest of a company, DMG, headquartered in Bielefeld, Germany, so hence the name DMG Mori. Within a year after moving into the facility, we expanded greatly. We brought over their facility, which was in Itasca, brought them over into Hoffman Estates, and we have continued to grow. In 2009, we are a formidable player in global CNC machine tool technology. Today, we are the largest machine tool builder in the world as DMG Mori. So again, we ask that with the initiatives that we have in the business that we continue to develop, we ask for your support. And we would like to remain here in Hoffman Estates with not only our facility, but continuing to move more and more operations here to Hoffman Estates. So we thank you for your time and appreciate the consideration.
What your original assessment was on the property?
Well, I guess it depends if you're looking for the 2020 assessment or the 2019 assessment.
I'm looking for the original 2008 assessment.
The 2008 assessment, I don't have that in my notes, but I can provide that at a later time.
Go ahead and tell me what the assessment is now.
Okay. The current assessment is at $4,976,585, which equates to a fair cash value of $24,750,000. Or I'm sorry, just about $24,600,000. Last year, the property was valued by the assessor's office and consequently by the Cook County Board of Review at $7.6 million. So clearly quite a discrepancy in valuation. Now, obviously, there's a two-step process. You file with the assessor, you file with the Board of Review. So what the 2020 assessment is right now might not necessarily be the final 2020 assessment, but that's where it currently is at this moment. I can provide you that 2008 valuation.
Do you have an idea as to how much taxes were for you at all back in 2008, 2009 area?
The tax was approximately in about $150,000, and that's currently, as of 2018, the tax bill was just under $170,000. This year, because of the ramp up for the 11th year being assessed at 15% of its fair cash value, it was at $279,108 in property taxes.
Yes, Trustee Palafis.
Two things. I know we've never done an extension like this before, so it's, a new precedent. If there's a motion and a second to approve. My thought is DMG Mori has succeeded in what we were hoping Sears would do, by bringing a lot of their peer corporations around them in a different place of the village than where we have Sears. But secondly, I think even if we were to play it out as we didn't offer the extension, whoever comes next into that building would still ask for it, and most likely it would be granted. So I'm for it in the sense of I see the merits. My only question is the promise for the 7 items for improvement. Like, how do we get, between now and if we approve this at a board meeting, how do we get guarantees, so it's not just
Promises.
promises, thank you. I'm glad you said it instead of me. Is there something that, I hate to use the word binding, but I'll go there, and, maybe the lawyers in the room could help me with this, but is there something that has teeth to it that guarantees those promises?
Actually, under the draft resolution, there is some teeth in one of the whereas provisions, actually number 7, and that discusses that the village receives certain assurances from DMG relating to the continued operation of DMG business in the village and converts the property to a North American and Central Region headquarters by December 31st of 2026. Those were 2 of the 7 initiatives, but that's certainly, DMG Mori is not looking to just provide empty promises. It's, as Mr. Kanaba mentioned back in 2007, they provided significant improvements and provided those promises in order to receive the initial 6B. They're in the same position today. And if there is a revision that needs to be made to the draft resolution to satisfy the village, we're in favor of that.
I didn't want you to hear it negatively. Sometimes I'm bad at that.
No.
Well, I wasn't alluding to the fact that you would do 2 and bail on the other 5. Really, I was just, more curious around the, and I know you guys have been great partners up there, and what you've done is fantastic. It's just, we owe a responsibility to the tax-paying residents and other businesses of this town for the actions that this forum takes. So that's more why I'm asking.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that. And if there's any sort of agreement, obviously that would be well received and we.
Okay. That's all for me, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else with any other questions up here? Mary, you had your hand raised a long time ago.
They answered it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, I believe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and it moves on.
We thank you, committee, and enjoy your evening.
You're welcome. Fourth is a request approval of a resolution authorizing the village president to enter into a purchase and sale agreement with ABY Golf Incorporated for the site of 7585 East Golf Road.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions regarding this?
Go ahead.
I'll stand here, but Art and I can field some questions. Just real quick background. In 2020, earlier this year, pre-COVID, it feels like a lifetime ago, I was contacted by a broker asking about the site, and we weren't under contract with anybody, and he said his client was a developer wanting to do a fast food restaurant. So Art and I worked together to prepare this purchase and sale agreement, one that I think is a little bit better than the one we had with Sterling. And just some of those key points are in the report, but just briefly, the purchase price would be $800,000 at closing. They would develop with a Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen drive-through restaurant. So from a tax standpoint, that's a really great generator. And then the closing would occur within 6 months. Within that time, they plan to come forward to the Planning and Zoning Commission, get their site plan approval from the board then, and then they would like to close quickly after that. So they're wanting to move on this, and they're excited about it. So, like I said, Art or myself will take questions if you got them.
Mayor.
Yeah, we've been around the block on this property several times. Are they putting up any earnest money or anything? Or is this just another one of these, well, yeah, we want to do it, and then...
Yeah, so there'd be a $25,000 earnest money deposit, and they've already have initial plans into planning. That was one of the things before we really spent a lot of time with even this agreement. We wanted to make sure it worked on the site, that you could kind of conceivably squeeze a fast food restaurant on there. And they went through a round of comments that we gave back to them. They came back with some adjustments, and it does. So they've already spent some time on a site plan, and like I said, they're wanting to move, but they are going to put down some earnest money.
Okay, good.
Trustee Mills.
Is there any contingency on this to the plan being approved?
Yes,
Okay.
that's one of the things before they close, they would like plan approval.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
not only final approval on the site plan, but we also have to, we have to replat the lot. It was split apart for Sterling, and now we have to consolidate it again. And we negotiated, to the mayor's point, we negotiated very heavily on them taking some action. Otherwise, we were going to, close down the contract and move on to somebody else. And I think, do we give them 9 months at the absolute most and 6 months for them to have all their plans done? And so, yeah, Mayor, we were very much aware of that, and we tried as best we can to negotiate those issues.
Anyone else? Yes, trustee Palafis.
I think this is the type of use we were hoping for, which is good. Aside from the fact that I'm a big fan of Popeyes, especially the spicy chicken, and I don't have to drive to Palatine now to get it. Not that I ever do that, but I'm just saying. And it's in a good location. I think it'll be a good front. It'll add other chicken options to KFC and Chick-fil-A right on that corridor. So I'm excited. And I think the earnest money and art, which you drew out here with Kevin, is it's a good contract, from my opinion. So well done.
Anyone else? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, that leads us to reports for information only. First is the Planning Division Monthly Report. Any questions, anyone? That'll be received and filed. Second is the Code Enforcement Division Monthly Report. Any questions from anyone? That'll be received and filed. The third is the Economic Development and Tourism Monthly Report. Any questions? Yes, Kevin.
Can I just make one quick plug? For any business owners in town who are listening, we do have a quick 5-minute survey trying to understand the impacts COVID has had upon them. So far, I've got about 85 responses, and that's something I'm going to correlate, I'm going to gather all the responses, and I'll bring them to you guys in October. But if there's any businesses listening, please go on the economic development page and take that survey. It would be greatly appreciated. That's all. Thank you.
Kev. Okay, that'll be received and filed. President's report.
I'll wait for the board meeting. Chairman Stanton?
Okay, we have nothing in other or items in review today, so a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Can we take a short recess?
Fine by me. Short recess?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure,
Why not?
yes.
Do we need to take a motion?
We're not in
Oh,
We're not
a
in a
meeting
meeting.
to make a motion, but we could just do it.
start the stream very well. I don't have that problem now.
Are you going to, you have that test when's your next, 30 days? 60 days, something like that?
In November, I go again.
It is.
Yep.
All president is shrinking prostate.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're calling to
Good evening. I'd like to call the General Administration and Personnel Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on September 14th, 2020. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Arnett.
Present.
Vice Chairman Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
I'm present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. If I can get a motion for approval of minutes for August 3rd, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any corrections, additions?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Request approval for motion, approval of minutes for September 8th, 2020, the special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We have one item under old business, discussion regarding the Halloween event, and I see that Suzanne had typed us up a little paragraph here, so do you want to go ahead and continue, Suzanne?
Yes, indeed. As you know, this is a follow-up item to the committee's discussion last week regarding the most pressing local government issue of 2020, Halloween trick-or-treating. So there are two kind of sections to this. The first is what Trustee Arnett just referenced, which is a draft newsletter article. Based on the committee's discussion last week, we had talked through the idea of allowing trick-or-treating between 3 and 6 p.m. So the idea of the citizen article is to provide information to the residents about potentially an event that we're looking at holding at the Now Arena, as well as trick-or-treating hours and some guidance on how to trick-or-treat safely if they do indeed decide to do that. So if you'd like to look at that and just let me know if you have any feedback, that would be great. Not necessarily tonight, but you can email me or anything if you'd like. The second piece of it is the event that we were discussing out at the Now Arena. Over the last week, we've been working with the Now Arena staff to sort of finalize, to sort of think up what the best option could be for that. I know that Trustee Mills had kind of proposed a two-part event that would have a drive-through section and then move to the drive-in movie at the end. In discussions with Ben over at the Now Arena, it was determined that that was maybe not the best option just because of traffic backups and other things. So the working idea that we have now is it's about a 2.5 hour kind of experience. Ben thinks that they could get about 400 cars into the parking lot there at the Now Arena. And so the idea would be for families to come in costume, and it would be a vehicle event. So you would stay in your car, they would just park you once. They've been in contact with some character actors who would dress up then and kind of circulate between the cars and, interact with the families while they're in their cars or next to their cars. It would be COVID safe, everyone wearing masks and distanced, so it would be good from that perspective. And then at the end, there would be some sort of family-friendly movie running about 30 to 45 minutes, so something short of a full-length feature, but conceptually that's the event. And then they would be able to move cars out because the drive-in does have an adult-themed night planned for Halloween. So this would be an earlier option. It would provide a trick-or-treating alternative for families, and then they would be out by 6 or 6:30 and headed home. So
I think that's great. I think that's a great idea. And then if they don't want to go to the Now Arena, they can choose the other option and go trick-or-treating on the safety protocols that we have. I think that's great, and thank you for following up on that. Anybody have any questions? Trustee Mills?
Wasn't there something here about an attendance fee? What are we talking, like $5 a car or something like that?
The amount contemplated was $10, which is what the Park District is charging for their event, and that would help us to offset some of the costs. Pre-registration would be required. What we've heard from the staff at the Now Arena is that, generally speaking, if you require registration but don't have a fee associated, they get a lot of no-shows and people who hold the reservations and then don't end up attending the event.
No, I think this is that's a very nominal fee for family entertainment for the one night.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's great. Thank you for following through on that.
Trustee Gato?
Yeah, thank you again for putting this together. I just happen to disagree as far as charging, right? The thing is that we've had so many things canceled for the whole year. And even what I said last week, as far as with the kids, right? I mean, two important things, Halloween and Christmas, right? And we've canceled everything else in between. I don't think we should charge anything for it. Let them come and let them enjoy. That's all I have.
Well, the only reason is like what she said, people might make reservations, hold a spot, and then not show because it didn't cost them anything. And someone who really wants to come doesn't get a chance to get in.
I agree with that, but you know what though, for $2 or $3 or $5, if somebody's gonna not show up, they're just not gonna show up. I mean, if it was $25 or $50, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, that'd be different.
But
Okay,
that's just
whatever.
my opinion. I don't think we should charge anything.
Trustee Palafis?
Kind of the soft medium between the two ideas that Michael and Karen are sharing. Because I agree with Karen, Michael, that if people don't have skin in the game, sometimes they don't show up. But what we've done when we've charged with other commissions is we've given them that money back in terms of like a food coupon, or if there's food trucks or whatever out there, or some type of candy rebate or things like that. And that's a nice way to zero out, the cost, but also keep them committed. That was just an idea of where I've seen it successful in other places, but just 2 cents to consider.
Trustee Gato?
I think that's an excellent idea. So this way we could charge, but then give it back to them in some way with the food or popcorn or whatever. Great idea, Trustee Falafas. That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else?
Aren't
Trustee Stanton?
aren't we actually, if you give, $10 as the fee, you're giving them candy, that's probably going to cost about that much anyway. So it's the same difference, really.
Yeah.
Is that something we'd have to work with the Now Arena on?
Yeah, so a lot of this is still in the works too. We're trying to look at what the best option would be for what system to use for registration and what the charge would be and how we'd process that through our finance kind of software. This isn't really something that their systems are set up to do. So we're looking at potentially an Eventbrite or something of that nature to handle the registrations. So all of this is still kind of in flux, so.
Okay.
Is there enough time to get this done by Halloween?
I believe so. I mean, the bulk of it is just what the drive-in theater does. And so the Now Arena staff has been working with the folks who run the drive-in to sort of work out how this will all happen. And so Ben seemed to indicate that it was not going to be a problem, the timing.
Great. Anybody else?
Do we need to do a motion for this?
I think maybe do a motion to proceed with.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we proceed with directing staff to work on the Halloween event at the Now Arena for October 31st.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much for Stan. We have one new item under new business, request approval to dispose of the village records that have exceeded their staff-required retention period.
So moved.
Does anybody want to add to that? Mayor?
I have one question. Do we actually have building permit address residence from 1959? Still in the records?
We do. Surprisingly,
Wow.
we do. We're very good at
They're
keeping
like
documents.
historical now.
Maybe we should keep that one.
Wow.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We will go ahead and move on to reports for information only. Number 1 is the Cable TV monthly report. Okay, we'll receive and file that. Number 2 is the Human Resources Management Monthly Report. Where else that? Okay, receive and file that one as well. Number 3, Legislative Operations Outreach Monthly Report. Anything to add, Suzanne? We will go ahead and receive and file that. President's Report.
Well, since the village clerk reminded me there is no president's report in the special meeting, I'll do it right now. There's a couple things I want to talk about. One, the 2020 census is still going on until September 30th, 2020. It's critically important that we all get counted in Hoffman Estates. To ensure funding and representation, it's never too late. Complete the census at www.2020census.gov. www.2020census.gov. And the Hoffman Estates free curbside branch pickup fall program will begin the week of Monday, September 21st. This program is for residents covered by the village refuse collection contract. Routes and dates have been established for various sections of the community. You can visit www.hoffmanestates.org/branch pickup. www.hoffmanestates.org/branch pickup for more information. Also, I'm in the receipt of a letter from the village president of the village of Villa Park. August 10th Storm Recovery Mutual Aid. Dear Mayor McLeod, on behalf of the village of Villa Park and its residents, I want to express our gratitude for your assistance in our recovery from recent windstorm. The chipping crew is extremely helpful in expediting the cleanup of the extensive amount of brush and tree damage that resulted from this severe storm, which registered EF1 tornado wind speeds, generated over 170 calls to police and fire reporting down libs and blocked streets, and left over 8,000 Villa Park residents without power. David Oates, Dave Giatris, Kyle Dees, Ken Edwards, and Art Bios were very professional and provided our town here in Villa Park with much needed support during this extended operation. Thank you again for providing this assistance to Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. Great job, and that's why we have mutual aid and public works also, because the next time it could be us getting help from Villa Park. On Wednesday, September 9th, I did participate in the state and local officials' call with the White House, and at 7 o'clock that evening, participated in the Northwest Municipal Conference September board meeting. And on September 11th, we had the National League of Cities Transportation Committee meeting. And on today, we had a call with Tony Preckwinkle of the Northwest and South Suburban Municipal Conference call with President Preckwinkle with all the mayors from the Northwest and South Suburban areas. We had a very interesting Plum Farms discussion this afternoon. And later this afternoon, I met with RTA board member Canty, Rod Pace, who's on the Metro board, and myself, we're on the Pace board. Canty is from Arlington Heights, Rod is from Hanover Park, and of course I'm from Hoffman Estates. We're the local representatives on those service boards. So we're going to meet on a regular basis to talk about ideas to help transportation in our area. I'm very excited about that. I think it's a great idea. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I see nothing in other or items in review. Can we have a motion for an adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has been passed. We are adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the Transportation and Road Improvement Committee for September 14th, 2020. The secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Mills.
Present.
Vice Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. Look for a motion to approve the minutes of August 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any corrections, additions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under new business this evening, number 1, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement to recertify a quiet zone at the Canadian National Rail crossing on Shoe Factory Road.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Henke, did you wish to address that?
Yes, thank you. Briefly, this is a recertification of the quiet zone that was initially established in 2008. It's required by the Federal Railroad Administration to revisit them on a periodic basis. As we did at the first round, Vernon Hills will be the lead agency. They have contracted with an engineering firm to perform the risk analysis that's required by Federal Railroad in order to consider the recertification. Our cost is approximately a little bit less than $4,000. We are recommending that to allow for some contingency, as there are expenses that may be incurred not to exceed $4,500. There are 13 total agencies participating, including Lake County, who's doing their obligation through a separate memorandum of understanding, separate from the IGA, but it's an equal share to the other participating communities. The study itself should take about a month or two to complete, and then it would be submitted for review.
Thank you. Any questions?
Nice to see you again, Mike.
Yeah,
Likewise, thank you.
couldn't even see him with the pillar there. If there are no other questions or comments, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you. Next item under new business, review of request for removal of designated handicapped parking space on Danbury Place.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Did you wish to address this also?
Yes, again, just briefly, we do periodic reviews of the need for handicap spaces that have been designated on public streets. In this case, it was discovered that the original requester no longer lives at that address. Just as a note, we have had instances, though, where we've taken signs out because people have moved. Someone else comes back in and it's reinstalled again. So the process of installing and removing and reinstalling is really not that difficult. It's a matter of task for Public Works to do that installation or removal. There is construction going on Danbury currently, so the sign is not actually in place right now. But this is part of our regular routine review of these locations. We do request that people let us know if they should move or their circumstances no longer require the handicap sign. Or, again, we do reviews of records to determine if the need still exists.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Hanky.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Under reports for information only, we do have the Transportation Division Monthly Report. Anything you need to highlight out of that?
Not this evening.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we will mark that as received and filed. Did the president think of anything else to report?
Nothing else, Madam Chair.
Okay, I see nothing else to come before this committee tonight, so I look for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Anybody need a break? Are we all okay?
We're okay.
We're good
Okay,
for now.
Thanks.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the special village board meeting of September 14th, 2020. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata,
Present.
Trustee Arnett,
Present.
Trustee Mills,
Present?
Trustee Newell,
Present.
Trustee Palafis,
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present. Can everybody please rise? Trustee Gady, you want to lead us in the pledge of the flag?
Yes, I'd be honored. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gata. This meeting, as all our meetings, is being telecast live on our cable channel. Will be reshown again throughout the month on our cable channels. Move on to item number 3, Planning and Zoning Commission reports. Chairperson Combs and Vice Chair Greg Ring are here.
A 2-for-1.
How about that?
Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval a request by Charles and Barbara Barrett, owners, for a variation from Section 9-5-3-D-5 of the zoning code to allow a patio to the setback 9 feet from the corner lot line, instead of the minimum required 26 feet for the property located at 1230 Hunters Ridge West with 2 conditions. Voting was 9 ayes, 2 absent.
Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions from anybody on this item? Seeing no questions, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata?
Yeah, aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move on to item number 4, additional business. Request board consideration of a recommendation from the General Administration Personnel Committee regarding direction and proceeding with a Halloween event.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion a second. This is again for the hours of 3 to 6, and we're working with the Now Arena to figure out the details of the event for October 31st and the recommendations if people are going door-to-door trick-or-treating. We do have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Slight discussion. I don't know how to vote on this because I'm in favor of the project that's in front of the Now Arena, but I still don't like the door-to-door stuff.
No, that's a dilemma.
It is a dilemma.
You're going to go like this,
Vote present.
Can we do 2 parts? Like the first one in the Now Arena, and then the second one is the trick-or-treating, or no?
Well, last week we did the hours.
Yeah.
So if we
We
take
already
the
approved
hours
that.
out, because hours weren't discussed at all during GAP,
Right.
and just do the Now Arena,
That's what the motion was for
Yeah.
tonight, was for the event at the Now Arena.
Was it, or was it for the hours?
No, it was
No,
for the
hours were
event.
last.
The hours were last, we
We did
did
that
vote
already.
on
Okay,
the
all
hours
right.
last
Well,
week.
then I'm fine.
Then you're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
See, I'm here for you.
You
guys.
solved everything, Bev.
You did, you're amazing.
I try my best. Sometimes
good thing
it's
you
more
stayed.
difficult.
So we do have a motion and a second. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. The chair would gladly accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Good night.
Hallelujah.